I mean, it should be live now. You guys should
And we're live.
We're doing live. Oh, I didn't want to put that over.
Almost.
And we're
No,
live.
sir. Over here.
And we're live.
Sometimes it takes a second to actually show up
Why
on
is
the
that
side.
And
there.
we're live.
that.
I'll
There
try
we
and
go.
pull up I'm pull up you.
I'm gonna not.
YouTube. Ooh, nice
Not-
background, Mark.
Yeah, you like the background?
We're here in
Mhm.
the eternal night. Eternal night?
Ooh,
Eternal
spooky.
Night. Yeah. Had to pull it, dude. It looks good. Got the Baxter building right in there.
Oh,
Sweet.
I wish I'm excited to explore more. And I
So good.
I did do a custom game. I don't know why I haven't done that more. You can just start a custom game by yourself and explore the map.
Run
Just
around
run
the map.
around. Yeah.
Instead of the practice range or whatever. But it would be nice to like throw some bots in there to practice your abilities.
Yeah.
We did it that one time trying to get achievements, just like trying to.
That's
Oh, yeah.
right. Yeah, we did. Wolf Gamer, what's up, dude?
Hey, how you
doing,
in the
man?
house. First time chat.
Welcome.
Just, you know what? Just before I walked in this room, my wife was watching whatever that Witches show that's on AMC. That just like new season
Oh
started.
yes, the Witches show.
The Witches
Sabrina
show.
the Teenage Witch.
Either way, no, it definitely wasn't that. But there was a trailer for The Wolfman. What happened to you?
Are you good?
What just happened? He literally just became the Wolfman. What happened, dude? Are you okay?
Almost
what
died.
happened over there?
I slipped on something trying to go to close the door and I
That wasn't
skated
subtle.
across my
Oh man, that's great. But anyways,
frog.
Wolf
Yeah,
Gamer.
Water bottles on the floor.
Yeah, we were at Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That's what
There was a trailer for the new movie The Wolfman, and it looks pretty sick. Dude. It
Oh,
looks
I
pretty
saw
good.
the poster.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Is this Mayfair Witches?
That's it. The Mayfair Witches. She read the
Okay.
books. I think there's some books and all that. She's in all that.
I googled Witches show on AMC, and this is what I
Boom.
found.
There it is.
I was reading my daughter Harry Potter tonight. We're on Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, we read Harry Potter too. I've got the
Illustrated?
hang on. No, it's better.
Oh, is it the thing with the little trinkets inside? I've got 3 of
The
those.
thing
I don't
with
think
the
they're making
trinkets.
Yeah, it's like a really fancy book with
So
when they
it's
get the letter. It's
it's a pop-up book.
what?
So it's Sorcerer's Stone,
Wait, let me see.
and
I see the
it's
cover?
like it's like this.
Yes, I have that. I have
Yeah.
the 3 of them. I don't think.
Yeah.
they're
So
gonna
there's
make-
only 3, and then they stopped making them.
So
but-
that's the pop-up, not the illustrated, right?
so there.
correct.
Yes, the
Illustrated's
illustrated
one
ones
of your
they are
copies.
still making.
Yeah, because I was gonna say we have like 5 of those, 4 or 5 of those, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
think they're on Order of the Phoenix is the last one
Yeah.
that they did. But
Yeah,
yeah,
my
both-
wife was getting pop-up books. I was getting her those, but they were like older stories, like Peter Pan.
Oh, cool.
this
But dude, they're
thing.
like, I mean, you
But-
open them up and it's just like, it's like this whole like
But
elaborate.
this has like the letter in it and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Like
Oh,
it
that's
gives you a
cool.
copy of the letter and like little just paper art things. Some of the stuff comes out of the books. Pretty
And
nice.
speaking of pop-ups, I have this, which is
Whoa.
Hogwarts pop-up, and it's like a legit like
Oh, nice.
That's sweet.
that.
Nice.
I got the
This
World
thing-
of Warcraft one. And
this
BSP,
thing-
bro. What's up, dude?
MSRP is
blah, blah, blah.
$75, $20 at a Goodwill.
Nice.
So
That's cool.
My wife and daughter always go like Goodwill shopping on the weekends.
Yeah.
We have like 2 or 3 of them around here, like that
They
are
give-
within good driving distance, so they just go to that all the time.
Yeah, similar to how Matt found his energy drinks. My Goodwill gets like nice books. I got like the StarCraft cinematic coffee table book for like $5.
Do you have an Ollie's, Ken's?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, it's kind of like a Big Lots. You got a Big Lots?
I know what a Big Lots is, but we don't have those either.
Okay, because it's kind of like it's almost like I don't know what do you even say, like when a store's going out of business, they just sell a bunch of
Yeah.
their crap, or like end of
Liquidation.
season stuff. So it's all discounted stuff. And Ollie's is great. They'll always have like a huge like book section. And then we bought my brother-in-law like a World of Warcraft cooking book from there. There was a Hearthstone like pop-up book I think he got, like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, those are sweet.
So Ollie's isn't the skateboarding store from the MVP2 movie?
No. Was that where the chimp?
Vertical Primate?
Yeah, was
Yep.
that the chimp?
He played hockey, then he was doing skateboarding.
As one
remember
does.
the hockey. I
As
remember
the
the
chimp
hockey
does.
movie.
Come on, man. They're
Yeah.
playing hockey, right? That's what they
Just
do.
like the dog, they just ran him through everything. Basketball, football,
The dogs went to
soccer.
space at some point.
He had puppies, and then
Yeah, that went to space.
dogs or whatever.
Do you guys have you watched the movies with your kids, like the dog that stole Halloween, the dog that stole
No,
Christmas? Because my kids, they were like, they were of the age when those came out, so we have them all on DVD, and we still to this day we watch the Halloween, Dog Who Saved Halloween. Still, my son's in.
It's
in
like live
college.
action with real dogs, kind of thing.
Well, that's just one dog. It's just like the one dog,
dog.
and then we watch the Curious George Halloween like every year, just because
nice.
it's just like classic. Like you just gotta watch those.
Sweet. But
What's up, chat? I think we're ready to. We're gonna move on here past our Hogwarts Halloween pop-up Neil falling on his face podcast.
Chimp,
did not fall. I slid gracefully.
Very gracefully.
You can't prove that.
I think we have it on. We have it on video. we need to clip that and put that up on the
You can't
socials.
prove that. Yeah.
What's that sound?
Like
Hey,
a
Wolfganger, you got you're excited for the Moon Knight skin. Did you get your gold last season?
That's probably what he's talking about. I didn't. I have tonight to do it.
Oh, boy.
Right?
dude, and servers go down.
There's
They're
a
going
Moon
down.
Knight skin in the. We'll talk about it. It's in the pass.
It's pretty sick. With like the blood red one, it's awesome. It looks good in motion too. But all right, so let's do this, dudes. So guys in the chat, thank you here for being here. We definitely have a good packed episode for you. So much to talk about. Yeah, I mean, obviously so many reveals this week. We also got early access. We were in on early access, so we'll be talking about some hands-on with all this stuff too. So it should be a good one for sure. So, are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right, so let me hit record over here. So we're recording the audio because that's obviously the important bit.
Recording.
It is recording it. Yep. And without further ado, here we go. We're gonna do Rivals Assemble, episode 10. Oh, yeah, you know what time it is. That's right, it's time for Rivals Assemble, a Marvel Rivals podcast. You are tuned into episode 10. And that's right, my friends, we've made it to double digits. And you know what that means? To celebrate it, we got a double-packed episode for you here tonight. That's right, the Eternal Night is falling on Rivals as Season 1 is arriving. And to break down all this information with me here, first up, Neil. Neil, what's up, dude?
Rivals Assemble. We're here, season 1. Let's go.
Let's go. And also joining us here, Ken's. Ken's, what's up, dude?
How's it going? The voice is back. Last week it sounded like Voldemort. So here we are. We're good to go. So yeah, ready to get into it.
Glad you're feeling better, man. We missed you last week because the worst part about
Let's
last
hear in
week
spirit.
was like, yeah, you were here. You were like in the chat.
was. I
You
just couldn't
here.
talk.
Just literally could not talk. Hated every minute of it, man. That you had to
All
do.
good.
You were even like texting like your top 5 in the chat. It was just like,
I was trying to be included.
trying to keep up, put me part of the show. Which, by the way, big thank you to all the people over on Spotify for giving us your top 5s. Lots of top 5s were given to us over there. And I would like to say, I know this is becoming a running joke. This week, guys, we actually had tens of comments over on Spotify. We crossed over 20 comments. So in my book, that's tens, multiple tens, not just 10, tens. So I thought that was hilarious when I saw
Or
that.
more, and we'll hit dozens.
That's right.
Well, this is episode 10, so do we have tens of episodes?
No, we have 10
No, just
episodes.
10.
Technically, we have 11 because we have our origin episode. People can go back
you
and
go.
listen to that. But yeah,
Don't
technically,
get lost.
Yeah,
There's
don't
a lot.
get lost in that. But yeah, so big thank you to everybody, obviously, for tuning into last week's episode. The show is just continuing to grow. It's really incredible to kind of see this community we're building around the show. And we're coming up with some ideas on how to continue to give you guys more content and things like that. And we'll be revealing all that later down the line. We got to kind of get together and figure out exactly what we want to do. But we really appreciate all the support that everybody's giving us. A little bit of housekeeping here as always. Don't forget, you can always follow us over on X, Twitter, or on Blue Sky at Rivals Assemble. Big what's up to everybody over in the chat as we're recording this live over on Twitch and on YouTube at Rivals Assemble Pod on both those platforms. And like I said, Spotify, best way to listen to us in the audio version, or on iTunes, whatever your service of choice is. But of course, Spotify, you can have access to the poll because we put a poll up every week. And you can also leave us comments over there. And whatever you're listening to us on, even if it is iTunes, leave us a review over there because that helps keep moving us up the ranks, get us more visible to people out there. And just, we're going to continue, obviously, putting the show out there. We're having so much fun doing it. Now, I mentioned comments over on Spotify. And real quick here at the top of the show, I do want to just bring up one comment that we did get over on Spotify. And, of course, we get to your other comments later on in the show. But this one came to us from Indravu, and he said, some people would lose a 1v1 to a keyboard duct tape to his dog. He said, finding this podcast for work has been a godsend. Keep them videos long, add another segment, and I'll look for a partition. He said, I'm debating if this podcast is kind of corporate, though. Did you guys pursue this yourselves, or does a company oversee it? So, first of all, Indravu, great, love the comment, dude. We're going to keep these podcasts coming, and believe me, this is going to be a long one, I have a feeling. But
what rank is his dog? Did he get his Moon Knight skin?
He probably did.
Very good point. He's higher than me.
Yeah, right. So, just real quick here, and the only reason I want to bring this up was the comment about asking if a company does oversee this show. And, believe me, all of us would want to say we wish that it was, that we were getting paid to do this. But no, this is all just out of pure love of wanting to podcast about something that we have a lot of fun with. There is no corporate nothing involved in this. I mean, the only corporate thing that maybe would be is that we are technically, I guess, Rivals partners, right, with NetEase. But, from what we've been doing, nothing on this show will or has been or will ever be bought and paid for, because we will always be honest with you. Like, that's the one thing that I've always done with podcasting. I mean, guys, I've been doing this since 2008, podcasting. So
Mark is a pro, if you can't tell.
So,
look at this background we have here.
Well, that's what I'm kind of wondering. I'm like, is that what, I'm going to take it as a compliment, dude. You're saying that we're corporate. Yeah. Like, I appreciate that. Like, hopefully it's because of the production of the show. I do take pride in that. I mean, we're all big podcast listeners. And when I say podcast, it's more audio versions of podcasts. So that's our bread and butter with this show. And so to me, that is the number one piece, is to make sure that we're entertaining a long form audio format. So, and again, I just wanted to bring it up because it's like nothing is bought and paid for here. When this game inevitably has its drama and is going through its hard times, we're going to be just as honest with you with it at that. We're going to get there.
You're ready for the tea.
No.
But also, like, hey, we have fun. It's video games, man. We're not getting into the negative gamer culture or anything here. So if you're looking for any of that, you're not going to get tons of that from us here. But of course, we're always going to definitely be critical and tell them, if they're messing up, I guess, with the game, right? But moving on, any comments on that, guys? You want to throw anything out there at the beginning or no?
Nope, I agree. I'm not afraid to be the game. The issue is the game is great. There's truly, I'm not afraid to be critical of things, especially when it comes to microtransactions, but that's about it. Like, the game's awesome. So
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I love it. It's a lot of fun. Love doing this with you guys. This is great.
I don't know, man. This really is like some of the most fun I've had podcasting probably ever. Like, just, I don't know. It's so much fun doing this because it literally combines everything that we love into one, which is awesome. But let's move on here to our poll. So last week on the pod over on Spotify, we asked you, who is the best dive duelist in the game? And we had almost 100 votes over in the poll, which was awesome. So we put up Wolverine, Iron Fist, Psylocke, Black Panther, Magic, and Spider-Man. And coming in first place, it was a little bit closer. The second was pretty close, but at 25.3% of the votes, Iron Fist took the win, with Psylocke coming in second at 21.8.
Mark, how many fake accounts did you make to skew the vote?
I promise you, I'm not voting in this. I don't want to vote. I may have paid a couple people to do that, but no.
We'll see when we talk about the pick rates and win rates and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say we can kind of cheat with this now because we've got the list of quite literally the most popular.
But
heroes to play.
But I think, though, there is a difference between what you're seeing on that list and what people are like real world experiencing.
Oh, for sure.
Because I'm sure the people
Well, what
listening to
they're
this
enjoying, too,
podcast
right?
are average players like us. They're not like the top tier. They're not coming to us to get advice on, what they need to be doing in the game.
Right.
So I mean, I really wasn't surprised. I mean, I was thinking it was either going to be Iron Fist or Psylocke. Iron Fist, I think, would probably win out because I think an average player, because of that lock-on melee, almost, that he's
kind of like an auto.
he's the
hit
easiest to
or
play.
auto aim, sort of.
It's,
you just have to be somewhere near them, and you'll be hitting them.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played him much because I'm usually tanking, but in my climb to gold, which has not happened, I've off-healed quite a bit. And let me tell you, there's always an Iron Fist in your face when you're trying to heal. So tanking, not so much. It doesn't bother me, but
Well, you got to feel for your healers, though,
You got to
right?
turn around, dude.
Exactly.
You got to turn around every once in a while.
Help your buddies out.
Yep.
That's fun. I believe I voted for Magic because I've had a lot of Magics on my climb to gold, which I hit this week, which was
Congrats.
kind of a big deal. I not sure if I was going to do it or not, but I ended
That's
up
awesome.
using the LFG on the Rivals Discord and finding a couple groups to play with the other night, and that worked out pretty well.
Nice.
But yeah, a lot of good Magic players, and makes me want to kind of try a little bit harder. But
Magic is so cool. Such a cool
Portal,
hero.
like transforming, like awesome.
It is very cool. I will say Wolverine coming in last at 9.2%, but I would not be surprised if we ran this poll at the end of next season and he's a little bit more up the ranks. Because I will say, we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, I have played some Wolverine in the season 1 early access, and he's a little bit better than what he is right now. I promise you.
I think
he's good.
I think people are just starting to learn them too. I saw him. I watched a bit of the finals of the pro tournament last weekend, and he was picked quite a bit. So I think it's just people figuring out how to play him and what he's good at and doing that. So it's cool to see how it's not just right away everybody knows who the best characters are.
Yeah.
It's as people figure out the combos and figure out the compositions of how to make best of each character. But then they are doing some of these buffs and nerfs as part of season 1, so we'll see how that changes things again, and adding more characters, so it's just going to change. Everything's changing, and we just launched a month ago. So
yeah, it's so crazy, right? It's unbelievable. So for next week, so if you're listening to this here on Spotify and you want to take part in the new poll, we're doing the best. Okay, Neil, you just changed it. We're doing long, right? Long range?
Sure, we'll do long. Yep.
Best long range duelist. So here are your choices, and we're kind of debating because we were just going to go for just range duelists, but there's like 9 or 10 of them when you kind of put it all together. So we're breaking it up in this way. So for this week, best long-range duelist, you have Black Widow, Hawkeye, Iron Man, Moon Knight, Namor, and Squirrel Girl. So personally, I could see Moon Knight going long or mid, but we're going to keep him in the long category. So again, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Iron Man, Moon Knight, Namor, or Squirrel Girl. Go over to Spotify, put your vote in over there. We'll give you the results next week. And I mean, the interesting thing of all this is I think we should start doing this. Like every season, run this back. So because we'll not only be adding new heroes in it, but also kind of seeing where those heroes play out at the end of a season. I think it would be kind of cool. So
I think if people are going to go vote tomorrow morning before they've had any time with season 1, that might be a different opinion that they have by the end of next week.
We gotta get Hela in there somewhere.
Hela should be in there.
I'd switch out Squirrel Girl for Hela and
for the long
Squirrel. Yeah. Oh
okay.
yeah.
Because we got to do a mid.
But see, the only reason I say Squirrel Girl, I would almost do Squirrel Girl over Moon Knight because
I can see that.
Squirrel Girl, dude, like especially when you're on like Clintar and you're on the like the push map.
She's got the bounce, right?
But you just sit there, just keep dumping, like just keep dropping those nuts. And
dropping them nuts.
Drop your nuts.
Drop them nuts.
All right. You'll have to go
That's
into
terrible.
Spotify and see your options.
Yeah.
And make a game time decision.
We'll figure it out. All right. So with that, guys, let's move on because we have tons of stuff to talk about in our new segment that we call the Not So Daily Bugle News.
J. Jonah Jameson here.
All right. Well, we had the big reveal this week of the season 1 content that is coming. And this, of course, is season 1, Eternal Night Falls. And we got a very nice trailer. So I'm sure everybody listening to this, you've probably seen the trailer. But if you haven't, do yourself a favor and go check it out. And here's the description coming from NetEase and Marvel Games themselves. They say, darkness engulfs New York as the time stream entanglement leaves Doctor Strange trapped in the entangled astral plane, scattering the Darkhold pages. Dracula and Doctor Doom disrupt the moon's orbit, plunging the city into eternal night and unleashing an army of vampiric creatures. With the world on the brink, the Fantastic Four join forces with iconic Marvel heroes standing together in the epic battle to break the mystical darkness with science. Ignite the battle against Dracula with the Fantastic Four in Marvel Rivals. So,
it was very topical that we did Doctor Strange last week when through the in-game lore, because all of this came up and we had no idea what season 1 was going to be at that point.
Once again, the art style of everything in this trailer and the animation just blows me away every time.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to get like some sort of animated show for just for this. Like, you watch these little shorts that they put into the trailers and that, and it's like, oh, just give me a show like that. You know, even if it wasn't like, I don't want to say this stuff looks like it's not fully animated. I mean, obviously it is, but it's kind of
that's
like
what I love
almost
about it,
like,
though. Like it's like there's like, it is like a comic book, but then there's like the CG of, you know, what they're doing with the video game. But then like there's these particle effects that are like the kind of Spider-Verse-y, you know, they're like low FPS things happening that just, I don't know. There's everything about them is so cool.
Yeah. So the whole aesthetic. Go ahead.
We saw how well it worked for Concord. So if they did some sort of tie-in, you know, just like a show of the week, tie in the season pass. No.
Poor Concord.
It would be very cool to do it.
Yeah. But, you know, first of all, we get our full, I mean, last week we already had the glimpse of what these characters look like, but kind of seeing them in motion in this trailer and you know, from everything we've seen so far, they just look awesome. The whole setting of this season, you know, at first I was kind of surprised that like, okay, we're going like dark. Like you would think this would be the season we're going to get down the line for like October, you know, but we're
Halloween.
Starting right off. Like we're hitting the darkness. We're having Dracula
spooky season in January.
But I dig it, dude. Like I like it.
Good time for it.
Yeah. I think it's great. So we do know coming in this season, obviously we're going to have some new characters. So I want to start there. And like we said at the top of the show, if you didn't catch wind of it, we did have early access to this. We got access to the early access build earlier this week. Got some hands-on with these characters. So the first one we'll talk about, of course, is Invisible Woman, Sue Richards. And I don't know, like between her and Mr. Fantastic getting hands-on, I got to be honest, I think she is the best of the two for me personally with my play style. When I played her the first time, I didn't feel like I was getting enough healing output. But lately I've been playing a lot of Mantis. And to me, she kind of moves and plays like that. The good thing with her is her primary also, though, kind of like Dagger, heals and does damage. Where, you know, Mantis, of course, you're going to have to keep dropping your little seeds there to heal. Where with Sue, you're just, whatever you're pointing at, either you're going to do damage to it or you're going to heal it, depending on who it is. So I really like being able to play that style. I think that's kind of why I gravitated to Cloak and Dagger.
Something I learned about after I played her when we were playing yesterday is, one, it pierces through. So if you line up your allies and the enemies, you can be doing both. And it's a boomerang. It goes out to whatever the max range is and comes back. So and it'll hit both times. So if you do it near max range, you can kind of hit them twice. So that's,
and it does a lot more for healing than it does for damage when you're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very cool.
So in terms of her abilities, let me pop this up on the screen here. So obviously, like we said, your primary is going to heal and do damage. She also has the what do they call that? That's her orb projection. She also has the ability, if you don't move or do any damage, she goes invisible, of course, because she is invisible. They also gave her what's called Veiled Step. So a great escape for her. She has a double jump, but on that second jump, she goes invisible too. So if you get jumped, if somebody's coming in your back line, that Iron Fist is there jumping on you. You can leap up and then hit it again, and she's invisible. Of course, then try to change your direction so that Iron Fist doesn't know where you're going. It's probably going to be your best bet there. She also has the Psionic Vortex, which she's able to drop down, which I also have found you can pop it, and then if you hit it again, you can pause it in the air. So I didn't know this when I was playing, but I actually saw somebody doing this on a stream earlier today. So you can actually put it up in the air. So if you have
for the flyers,
yeah, for the high flyers, you can actually put that vortex up there, and it's going to just damage them. So unlike, I was going to say,
like, it also brings them to the center. It kind of pulls them a little bit and slows them, as well as the damage.
Awesome. And so it also, so kind of like Dagger, where her bubble heals. This is, of course, just doing damage. But then the other thing is she has what's called the force physics. So you're able to push and pull enemies. So the way I was playing it was kind of watching, if you have somebody coming towards you, try to drop the bubble in front of them or behind them, and then as they come out of it, you either push or pull them back into it. Took a little bit to get the muscle memory of it, but after a couple matches, you'll start to get it. Dude, it's so much fun to do. I mean, even if you're not dropping the bubble, I had a Hulk that was in his alt coming at me, and I was able to push him away and then do my double jump and escape.
Nice.
So, yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she's got a lot of utility to her kit.
Yeah, how's the range on the force physics? Like, can you pull someone from pretty far away?
I mean, from what I could tell, it seemed like it had a great range to it. I mean, you're obviously not pulling them directly to you, like a scorpion or anything like that, but you're moving them, I would say, probably a good, 5-8 meters in the game. And that makes a big difference when they're trying to escape that bubble. As long as you can get a great, good lock on them, you're pulling them back into it. Now, the other really cool ability she has is the Guardian Shield. So, of course, we think of Sue Richards having a shield. She drops this, and it's going to drop in front of your ally, and it's whatever direction they're facing. So if they're turned to the right and you drop it, the shield's going to go like facing the right side. So where I was finding it very useful was, number one, a Punisher and a turret. It's great because you can literally just pop a shield on a Punisher.
Nice.
Or like if you have a dive tank, so like Venom was great because he would, dive in, and a lot of times the Venoms will drop in, and then sometimes they'll kind of slowly back up but keep using their tendrils after they smash down. You can drop that shield, so it drops a shield in front of them it doesn't actually lock on to your teammate. It's whatever direction they're placing, and it locks on the ground. So you can place that, and then your Venom can step back a little bit, and then he's being shielded, and of course still able to kind of shoot through that shield to do damage. So
you can also retract it, and it's like Reinhardt's shield, where if the cooldown to bring it back up, if the shield goes away, is going to be longer than if you retract it before the shield is destroyed. Ooh. So if if you're watching the shield's health and you take it away before it dies, you'll be able to put it back out in like half the amount of time, like 3 seconds versus 6 seconds or something like that.
Is this something you have multiple charges of?
You do. I think you had 2.
Yeah.
I think it was 2. Is it saying here? I'm trying to look to see. I'm pretty sure.
And the other thing is enemies pass through it are slowed, so it's some CC there too. You can't do it on yourself though, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
That'd be a good way to try and get out of trouble.
Mm-hmm. Her ultimate is the invisible boundary. So it's kind of like this massive, like, what do you want to say?
Hocus pocus.
Yeah, like a big cylinder force field.
Like, it's, other than it being and turning invisible, it reminds me of a well of radiance from Destiny.
Yeah,
healing that it does.
Yeah,
you're basically invincible in it. You're not invincible, but it's healing so fast that it's like ticking back up your damage with any damage you take.
Yeah, so it's this kind of massive cylinder that goes up high too, so even your high flyers can't see through it. And if your teammates are in it, they're healing over time. You're invisible, and then when an enemy steps into it, they're slowed. Now, what I found, again, with that force physics, you can pull the enemies into it. So if somebody's right on the outside, pull them in, they're slowed, drop your psionic vortex, and you're just damaging the hell out of them.
And the enemies can't see into it, but when they're into it, they can see.
Yeah, once they get in, because
they're slowed at that point.
But they're slowed.
And they don't take damage, do they? It's just the healing?
Not going in, I don't think they do, no.
Yeah, okay.
No.
That's still pretty awesome. That's you hold that choke point pretty good there.
Yeah.
Or the point, throw it on the cart that's going through.
Yep.
Oh, are there people on there? I don't know.
Yeah, I saw a video of someone using it, and then doing you use it, and then enemies come in, and then you do the double jump, and you're just gone. So it's like they can't see you until they get into it, and then you turn invisible and you just run away.
That's awesome.
She's great. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
She is
mobility's great. Yeah,
awesome. She is so much fun. Like at first I was like, oh, I'm gonna like Mr. Fantastic, and then once I played her, I was like, nope, this is it. Like she's the one.
Yeah.
She's definitely the hero this go around that I'm definitely
That's great.
I had a lot of fun playing with. Let's see. We also got the Mr. Fantastic trailer that they put out. So Mr. Fantastic, he is a duelist, and some people were a little bit kind of wondering how's that going to work. And I will say, like, he definitely is still fun to play. I don't know. I'm not going to say he's overtuned right now, but he is very, very buffed in terms of being able to take a lot of damage.
Yeah, super.
You have this elasticity meter, kind of like how Doctor Strange, the more enemies you hit, you kind of build up that darkness. With Mr. Fantastic, you're building up this elasticity, and whenever you hit 100%, he becomes kind of this, like, if you're watching on screen, you can see he kind of becomes like this big bubble or a big blown up version of himself, and does more damage as he's hitting, which is pretty neat. His arms have pretty good range to him too, as you're kind of tossing those out there. He has the ability to.
It's also really important to note, real quick, his primary fire is infinite ammo, which makes sense because it's his fists, but there's pretty few characters that don't have to reload anything, so that's pretty cool. You can just spam away with him.
Yeah, I think that's what I remember. I kept kind of saying that as I was playing with him, was like, he really, to me, seems like if I want to play a melee character, he's kind of up. He's up there. Like Iron Fist is probably my number 1. Mr. Fantastic is probably going to be pushing into my number 2, number 3, just because of his sustain. Like you can just take tons of damage as him. I mean, it's great. The way
he's a bruiser.
Yeah.
I think he's the highest health duelist. And just with we didn't mention the team up, but with Sue Storm, he's got the active ability. I guess Sue Storm is the
anchor.
Yeah.
But he gets additional shield and healing from that. His elasticity gives him something, and then we'll go through the things now. But there's a lot of survivability. And one thing that I wasn't getting right, or I didn't know about while I was playing the other day, is with his primary fire, you shoot out your arm, and then you can move your reticle, and you can hit multiple people before it comes back. So it is kind of like a slow 1-2 punch, but you shoot it out, move your reticle, and you can hit all the people that's in between.
It's crazy.
While it's at long range. So you can, it's like it's not single target. It's a very good, like, it's kind of splash damage in a way that I wasn't knowing about.
Makes me want to play with like a gyro infused controller. Like, remember, what was that game? What was the game, kids? Arms. Yes.
Yeah,
Arms
dude, I
Switch.
loved Arms. Just like, spring, like just punching away in the living room.
Yeah. Let us connect our Switch Pro controllers to the PC just to play Mr. Fantastic for Rivals.
Swing it.
Give me that.
Wacky inflatable tube.
Give him an Arms costume.
That'd be great.
Do crossover.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Well, the crossover, there's a very obvious crossover here.
What's that?
Gumby.
No, Luffy.
Luffy, yes, the One Piece.
Yeah, it's obviously Mr. Fantastic is the original stretchy man, but that ultimate looks it is very Gear 4. So
it is, you're right.
It's very bounce man. So
Stretch Armstrong?
Definitely is. I was thinking Stretch Armstrong too. But you mentioned the team up. So the wedded harmony, it is the active ability that he kind of pops the shield on his chest, so you do get that little buff in terms of the shield. But for his other abilities, he has the reflexive rubber, where he can stretch his body to absorb a bunch of damage, and he kind of bumps his chest up and he kind of walks kind of just looking all goofy.
Waddles.
But it is funny when he does it, and he's taking all this damage and then it bursts out. So I didn't really notice like the burst of the damage coming out really making that much of a difference when I was in a fight, but it was kind of like my what do you want to call it? Like my freak out, like oh god, I'm getting jumped, and I would quickly hit that, and then I would be able to survive. Because
is that the thing? There's one in the trailer where he like sucks up an Iron Man ultimate and shoots it back. Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
So it can stop anything.
Yeah, any single piece of damage, not like a damage over time or anything. Like he can do an Iron Man alt. He can do a
projectile.
Wanda alt. Yeah, even a Wanda ult. It's
Crazy.
AoE,
Oh, wow.
but it's like one burst of damage. It
Mhm.
breaks his shield, and he can shoot it back, but it keeps him alive. But anything like, what are some of the other ones that kind of like, like a storm ult or the
Could he do
Moon
a
Knight
storm? You
ult?
think he could do a storm?
No, he wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
because
no.
it keeps ticking, right? Anything with like a tick, once his
Right.
shield is done, then he'll start taking damage. But if it's
Magneto?
like one blast. Yep, he should be
Yeah,
able
he
to do
could. He
that.
could. That would be like the same as Iron Man's. Yeah.
It's an AoE, but it's all damage at once, so
Hmm.
he should be able to save it. But I agree, Mark. I didn't feel like I don't know how much percent damage he does back. It's obviously not all of it.
Yeah.
It must tone it down a bit. Maybe like like I think the whole shield is 450. I don't think he's doing 450 damage back.
Yeah,
It
no.
must like be a third or something.
And that
like
was probably, and again, now thinking of that, like I never even tried it on an alt because I either wasn't in that situation or just I wasn't thinking. I was thinking more kind of in the moment. But yeah, I guess, and I wouldn't say you want to save it for those alts, but because it came up pretty.
It's a low cooldown.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a low
maybe 10
cooldown, so like
seconds or
use
so.
it, definitely use it. But I guess it would be great, in those situations.
Do you need to be facing the way the damage is coming from, or if you use it and run away?
I think you do
Your
because
back
that was the
is-
one
it
thing. Like
seems like you
he's
do.
just kind of bumping his chest out and just kind of
Yeah.
waddling along.
Very cool though. That kind of saves him from his low mobility. I feel like his low mobility is lacking for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he also had the what is it? The flexible elongation, where you gain a shield, select a target, and dash towards them, dealing damage to enemies, and it would grant a shield to allies. So you kind of had your choices. Did you want to do that to an enemy, which pretty much is primarily what I did. Like I wasn't really out there putting shields on my allies. It was more
Just
about
thinking about yourself.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Whatever. But you get what was it? 2 uses? Wasn't it 2 shots?
I think
with
this
that?
has charges as well. Yep.
Yeah, so 2 charges on that, and that was basically like hit it, pulls them forward, does a bunch of damage, swing, and then as they try to escape, do it again and get back in there. And then the other thing he had was the distended grip, where he extends his arms forward to basically entangle an enemy, and you can
Slam them together.
pull them towards you, or he would grab another enemy and like basically knock them together. So that was a little bit of longer cooldown on that than the flexible elongation, but
Yeah.
lots
So
of
the
fun to use.
elongation's the only one that teleports you to the enemy, and then this grip pulls them to you or to another enemy.
Yep.
Mhm.
Cool. Okay. That one was a little bit weird because I like would hit the same button again to pull them back, but you actually have to use your primary fire to make that work. Don't hit that button again because it might just cancel it.
Right, yeah,
If you
'cause-
do grab an enemy.
Yep. I had a couple times where I canceled it and I was like, ah.
Yeah.
And then his ultimate is the Brainiac Bounce. Not Brainiac from DC. This is the Mr. Fantastic Brainiac. And in this, I don't want to say it's like the Bucky ult, but it's kind of
Yeah,
a
it
little bit
is.
like that because literally you just jump up and you just start pounding down and he's all blown up, just slamming his fist down. And as long as you hit someone,
Just damage.
it continues on. And
Yeah.
fantastic ult. No pun
It
intended.
I didn't feel like it was nice. I didn't feel like it was doing a lot of damage. It does slow people, and I feel like as soon as you're doing it, you're getting targeted. I'm not sure if you can get your shield first and get your elasticity passive thing, elastic strength, before you use it to give you a bit more health because people are going to be targeting you.
Yeah, and he
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
get. A lot of the ults, have a little bit of health, like Venom's
Yeah.
ult. You get some extra health and stuff. He doesn't get anything, so you're completely vulnerable when you're bouncing up in the air.
Yeah.
It worked pretty good, and we're going to talk about Doom Match in a little bit, but it was really good in Doom Match. I had a couple areas where I would just jump through a portal, and I was right there and
That's awesome.
pop it, and you're hitting like 2 or 3 people who were already fighting, already low health, and you're
No,
just
they're
like,
busy with
taking
each
them
other,
out.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, not 2 teams, it's 12.
Take advantage of it. And so, obviously they're coming to the game, which, by the way, their models look awesome. But if you want some different skins for them, you can also get, and I'm glad that I called it last week, the Maker skin coming, of course,
Yeah.
for Mr.
Extra
Fantastic.
point.
And we're also getting the Malice skin for
Oh, yeah.
Invisible Woman. So, of course, we had the Psylocke skin in season 0. We had the Venom skin in the Winter Celebration.
Winter, yeah.
And now we have the Malice skin. If you see a little trend there, I think
Cake
you know
for
what I'm-
days.
what I'm talking about there. This Malice skin is crazy, dude. Like
What is the rating on this game?
Wow. Like I literally like didn't see it. I fired up the game. I think they had already put out like the tweet, but like when we got into the build, I got in there and I'm like, oh, let me see it. And I saw the maker. I was like, yeah, they did the maker. And then I went over and saw the Malice skin. I was just like, wow. Like was not prepared to see that, but okay, we're doing this. Yeah, but either way, they both look fantastic. Like they really are awesome for what they did with these skins, man.
Do you know what the Malice is in terms of the story? She looks like a mummy kind of thing.
I don't know,
like
man.
claws?
I mean, the crazy thing is when you look at the comic image of Malice, like
it is.
She's more
like
covered up, I guess, if you want to say.
Yeah, this is modest.
This is modest for the Malice.
She's
Oh,
basically
really?
only
Comic
wearing like a cape in the comic.
All right.
Yeah, so
it seems something to do with Dracula, right? Is it like a Darkhold kind of thing? Tie-in?
I don't know, actually.
She's
I
got the
honestly
red
don't know. That's why we need Matt here.
claws.
Matt.
That's why we need Matt. But yeah, so either way, skins look great, and they're continuing to cook. Now, from what we could tell from the build, those are the only paid skins, at least at launch.
The only paid ones.
Yeah, we'll have to see what's coming.
So what you think you
But
don't earn them or what?
No. There is one you can earn that's not paid.
That's right. I mean, we can mention it now too. The other thing that's in there is the Eternal Night event. I forget exactly what the term was for it, but kind of how similar how we had the event in Season 0 where you had to play an X amount of matches to slowly unlock your gallery panels and all that. If you unlock everything in the event, this go around, you actually get a classic Thor skin, and it's Thor from Thor 2007.
It's a classic Thor. It looks
but it's sweet, free Thor skin you can earn by completing the event. And also, I do want to give kudos to them on the event this time around, and I mentioned it to you, Neil, is before you had to, it was like win 2 matches on this map and you had to, do this team up X amount of times. Most of the things this go around are a one thing or another. So it's like, win 2 matches on Eternal Night Midtown or just win 5 matches in like quick play, Doom match, conquests. Like, so you don't have to do the specific thing, which I think is cool.
From what I can tell, they were all like, do the specific thing and you have to do it less, or if you're not getting it, you're still going to do it. Like the other thing that I saw was absorb 2,000 damage as a few tank characters, or absorb 5,000 damage as any Vanguard. Right. So it's like you're still going to earn progress to it and get it, even if you don't play those characters. So you're not messing up with the comp. If you're not very good at it and you're just trying to win, then it gives you some options, which is good, because we had the issue last time not hitting the maps, right?
Yep.
You're playing the games. I really want to know the story, but I haven't got this map in like 2 days.
That was my problem. I had to go into AI to like get the Wakanda map. It just would not come up. Like when I finally got to it, it was just wouldn't happen. And then even the Hydra map, like every time I got it, which was 1 in like 10 at that point, I had to get the win, and I just could not get a win on the map. It was killing me.
Yeah, and the way that the event page is laid out on this looks really nice.
Oh yeah,
it's like the Daily Bugle. So our friend there in our new segment will be happy, and they've got pages with pictures. Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yep. I'm excited. And there's also little collectibles in there too. Like I think in the end, you actually collect the Darkhold, I think, or just other little, just like a Dracula box. If you remember in
that
season
last
1.
Time.
Yeah, still want to know what all that's for.
Don't know.
I think it's all just collectibles, dude. Honestly, like I think, 5 years from now, you're going to be able to go back, have your gallery, your collection, and be like, this is what I did in this game, which,
Can we get housing in Marvel Rivals?
Come to my house. I'll show you my.
Well, hey, speaking of housing, let's move on and talk about some of the things coming in this season. And, first up, we got another dev diary. So we have old Guan Guan out there talking about season 1. So awesome to see him and the team. They, just again, being very transparent and everything coming to the game. So very cool. If you haven't watched that, it's like 11 minutes. I mean, it's a nice long video they put out there, so go watch that. But coming in this season, we're getting 3 new maps, and the way they're rolling it out is basically in 6-week intervals. So day 1, which by the time any of you are hearing this, it's already going to be out, but you're going to get Sue and Richard, or Mr. Fantastic, day 1, plus really 2 maps. So 1 map that's going to be in quick play, the Empire, the Eternal Night Midtown, and then the Sanctum Sanctorum map, which is coming with the new mode Doom Match. And then 6 weeks later, that's when we're going to get Human Torch, Thing, and then the Empire of the Eternal Night Central Park map. So 6 weeks till we're getting that. But I mentioned housing because I want to talk about the Midtown map. This map, guys, I'm just going to say it out loud, is the best looking map in this game, hands down, in my opinion. The number of locales and just detail that is in this map. So the first thing you do if you are on offense and it's a convoy map and you're pushing the payload, which by the way is little Herbie in the Fantasticar, you're on an elevator coming down the Baxter building. So when you're first time you play this map, if you're on that elevator, just look around. Because when you get to the bottom, you're in the lobby of the Baxter building, just turn around and there's these huge holograms of the Fantastic Four. And it is just, oh God, it just looks so good. And then as you start pushing the payload, you start moving through Midtown. When you see the original like intro to the map, there's a giant Iron Man, which I don't even know what he's doing there. Hopefully we'll get some story bits on there, but it's a huge, almost looks like a Sentinel that has crashed into Midtown. So it's this huge like crash robotic Iron Man armor suit just laying there. The Murdoch Law offices are there. You'll see them. You will.
That's cool.
Yeah. You'll go past. Who else is in there? I think you go past the Sanctum Sanctorum. I think you'll see there. You can't go in it. But your goal is to get to the Avengers building. And when you get there, there's big statue of Captain America and Iron Man out front. It's such a cool map. It's great.
Fist Tower.
Yes. Go.
Fist Tower.
Yeah. The map plays really good too. It's like, it seems, I don't want to say it seems like it is a corridor, because I mean, quite frankly, it is, because there's so much rubble and all that from all the other buildings, but it's just a fun map to play. There's all little, you can go in and out of shops where the windows have kind of crashed out of them. You end up going down into the subway. You're in the subway tunnels down there where the ground is kind of collapsed down in, and you go down in. It's awesome. Like, they knocked it out of the park with this map. And if this is any indication of where we're going with maps, I mean, I'm all in. Neil, did you get to play on this map at all, or we just did the Sanctum? Right?
I hopped in a custom quickly to make sure that it ran on my computer.
Yeah.
And I just saw, I think I might have been on the defense side of the thing, but this looks awesome. They did just drop a kind of map reveal trailer as well, so you can check out Marvel Rivals YouTube page.
Yep.
And it just gives you kind of like the different locales that Mark was just talking about and how they look. It looks fantastic, and it does give me some vibes of, you know, being in the streets. There's that 2099 map where the first is a capture point, but then you push the payload. I like that map because you get to pop in the buildings, you know, go through different rooms, and that's kind of like your side paths. But obviously, you've got your main path. You're pushing it down the road, which is it's a fun way to do a map, and then you end up at the Spider Dojo or whatever. So that would be kind of similar to the Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
And this just being in a universe that we're very familiar with places that you've already mentioned. It's awesome. I'm excited to add this to the.
I mean, dude,
the
first time I turned around, because I played the map and didn't turn around and see like the holograms of the Fantastic Four, and I didn't really realize like where I was. You know, you just see the match starts and whatever. That second time, and I kind of took a second and like, you know, took in the map. I was like, holy crap! Like that's just awesome. Crushed this map. It's so good. And then not even that. Like the other map you get here from day one, the Sanctum Sanctorum, is probably one of the coolest maps just in terms of the layout. You're literally in the Sanctum.
Yeah.
When Matt did his lore drop on Doctor Strange, we talked about Bats. His little dog. Bat's ghost is walking all around the Sanctum. You're going to see Bats all over the place, which is awesome.
Didn't know that.
You're like in the kitchen. You're in the lobby with the big staircase. You're outside in the courtyard. And then there's portals linking it all together as well. And then there's even these little teleport bits that are in there. So
it's kind of like a zip line or whatever in other games where you activate it and then it takes your character and you see where it moves. One of them puts you up on the roof. The other one's just like kind of I don't know if you're invulnerable as you're moving. You might be. So
I think you are. I think in those little portals you are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing map, and we played this yesterday, and might be my new favorite game mode.
Yeah.
Who called this? Someone called this being the Sanctum Sanctorum being a map in port. Like, it wasn't me, but I know that
I think it was on our wish list.
One of you has talked about the Sanctum Sanctorum being a map where portals are like in the lobby going to different places. Like, that's definitely been brought up on the show.
We did
way before this.
It might have been Matt actually that kind of brought it up.
I think it was Matt.
Yeah. Now it doesn't bring you to like, totally different locales of like you see like in the Doctor Strange movie where it's like he's in snow all of a sudden. But dude, the way it plays, it's great to escape. It's great when you kind of walk by a portal and you can hear somebody, and then you look in there and you see there's a fight going on in there and you jump down in there, because this map is exclusive to Doom Match. And what Doom Match is, it's a 8 to 12 player free-for-all mode. And I think you played a 16, and there's like an 8-minute time limit, I think, on it. And the first of 16 obviously wins, but the top 6 actually win as well. So if you can come in that top 6 players, you're going to get a win out of that.
What does it mean to win, though? I guess that would count for your
win, challenges, things like that. I think it would matter.
But you don't really win unless you're number 1.
Right. Which I got it once. I got it yesterday, and it was on. I think I was down like 15 to 12 or 13, and actually came back. That person that was 15 wasn't able to pull it off. Which I'm sure you've had that happen, Ken's, in Halo, right? Like,
I was about to say, this reminds me of Rumble and Rumble Pit.
Yep.
So it's definitely giving me that vibe, and that was the same way. You would get a win for, like I think it was like top 4. So I'm here for it.
Oh, and believe me, it's a lot of fun. Like this map, like Neil said, this mode is probably gonna be one of my go-to modes. It
was great. I had a lot of fun, and a lot of people were picking Hulk because you kind of have that 2 lives, I guess, right? So there are a lot of Hulks just bashing on each other. I just kind of wait for them to turn to Bruce, and I was playing as Sue Storm, so I was kind of learning her at the same time. And you just throw your bubble through a portal, hide around the wall, go invisible, go through a portal. They're never gonna find you. It's amazing.
I had a lot of fun.
Like hide and seek a little bit.
It kind of is, yeah, it is. I had a lot of fun playing Wolverine in this match.
Right.
Like I said, he is a bit stronger. He's got a little bit more health this season, so I felt I was able to stay alive a little bit longer. And once you kind of start to learn the different locations kind of the Sanctum, like there's one that's outside, and learn where those health packs are, you're able to be in a brawl, and as long as you can kind of stay alive, the health packs actually come up rather quickly. So you're almost fighting each other, but also fighting over that health pack, because it's like whoever can get that is going to have the edge. And so when you're fighting in the lobby with the big staircase with bats going up and down the staircase, which is awesome, there's a health pack right in the middle there. So I couldn't tell you how many fights I had just fighting in the lobby, because it was like everybody's kind of fighting and circling around that health pack, just waiting to see who's going to be the one to get it, to kind of just stay alive and get that kill.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's way better than Conquest. I mean, Conquest is fun for sure.
Yeah.
But this is like, nope, I'm going to do it. And the other thing, which I don't know if this was in it, and I know this game has such a fast matchmaking in it that nobody ever really gets to experience the, while you wait, like some other games have. While you're waiting to matchmake, you can choose to go to the practice range or go to Doom Match. So if by chance at some point
that
this
you're
game
waiting more than 4 seconds,
gives you more than a 5-second wait time, you can go to a Doom Match and play in there while you're waiting for your match. Which I guess, if you're playing competitive on the higher end and you're having to wait a couple minutes to get in a match, you can go in there and do Doom Match.
That's fun.
Which is cool. So we are, of course, getting a new battle pass coming with this. And I think they're actually calling it the Darkhold, right? I kind of like that they're actually naming the battle pass, which is kind of neat. But we are getting lots of good stuff in this. So basically for $10, I think it's 990 lattice is what they're saying. So essentially $10. You're getting 10 new skins in that pass, 600 lattice, and 600 units. So, I mean, that is a hell of a lot of stuff to have in the pass. You're getting, of those skins, immediately you are unlocking the Butcher Loki skin, which is freaking awesome.
Wow.
Yes, the Necro Sword. Please. More Null content.
He does too. His emote, he conjures like this dagger. He like pulls it out and then slices his hand with it. It's awesome.
Oh man, and that
The
I don't
All
know
Butcher.
The All Butcher,
how the
that's what it's
cape
called.
can get any better, but this is a sweet cape.
Yeah, so go look up that on the Battle Pass. Let's see, you're also getting the Bounty Hunter Rocket, which I think we've seen that. That was in the alpha
Yeah.
and in the beta. There is the Emporium Matron, which is a Scarlet Witch skin, which looks good. It's kind of like a classic Scarlet Witch. I kind of like that. A pretty cool Adam Warlock, the Blood Soul, kind of where he has like a gold mask on. I like the emote you get with him. I don't know if you guys saw this. When you pop it, there's like a little bird that just falls from the sky and lands on the ground. And he picks it up, holds it in his hand, and kind of conjures some magic and brings it back to life.
Whoa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then he like lets it off and lets it go.
Oh, he does look awesome. Looks like some sort of knight.
Yeah.
Iron Man crossover.
The Iron Man Blood Edge armor, which at first I didn't even realize this was Iron Man when I first first saw it.
Maybe that's who I'm looking at now.
But wow, yes, he definitely looks like a knight.
Yeah.
His MVP screen is badass too, and just kind of how it looks with all the red of the moon and all that looks awesome. And his emote that you get on his page is there's little rats running, or one little rat I guess running around, and he's shooting his repulsors at the little rat like running around the ground. Which is
I didn't
pretty
see any of the emotes hardly.
No.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. The Savage Submariner. So you're getting a pretty cool Namor skin and pulling in the Submariner, which I think is pretty awesome. And, that's a character that I like to play, but I've never really pictured myself buying like a skin per se for. So I'm glad they're putting this in the past because I'd like to have a cool skin for him. Yep. The Blue Tarantula skin for Penny, which kind of just falls in line, I think, with the Fantastic Four color scheme.
There you go. Yeah.
But it's cool. Nothing too special about that one.
I got the Venom Penny skin with PlayStation Plus, so it's gonna be hard to knock that one off my go-to.
Definitely. Let's see. We have the Blood Moon Knight. So essentially, this looks like kind of like the black and gold one from competitive, but it's all black with the red, and the red bits on him, like the onks on his knees and all that, kind of like radiate. So when you see it in motion, it looks awesome. And on his back, on the cape, there's like a red sword, like the Dracula sword is kind of on his back.
Cool.
It's a really badass skin. Like, so, I was thinking to myself, like, I'm going to always rock the black and gold to show that I, hit gold in competitive. But then it's like, this skin's pretty sweet, man.
Well, he's got this, and he just came out with the one we talked about last week, the Dragon Lunar New Year.
He's got the most skins in the game.
He's like the new Reinhardt, because they always give him the best skins in that game. It's like, share the love, man.
Yep. Crazy. We have a Magneto skin, the King Magnus skin.
That's cool.
He looks very regal. And I will say he has one of the best emotes, too, as he's helmetless, but his emote, he kind of puts his hand out and conjures the like typical Magneto helmet, and then he crushes it with his fist.
Woo.
It's pretty
so
sweet.
no protection from Professor X.
Mm-hmm.
No.
He's
and
cool.
he has a House of M spray, which I think is kind of neat.
Oh, okay.
Putting that in there.
Yeah, he looks pretty cool.
And then the final skin is the Blood Berserker Wolverine, where he's basically Van Helsing, and the skin is great.
Yes.
The MVP is great. The emote
The
is
claws.
great.
You don't see the claws in this image, but they're like red and glowing and super cool.
They look like they're just covered in blood and just like
Yeah.
kind of radiating. It's pretty neat. But overall, what do you guys think of this pass, man?
I think it's
good.
great. Yeah. Especially that you're getting some blue money. Again, I don't remember what it's called, but that with the
Units.
skins and the price, this is the way I'm going to like earn currency to buy the skins I want, because all of them are great and fun to have. And it's nice they're giving some characters that weren't in the last pass to give you a little something for everybody.
Yeah, this is. I wasn't really too excited about the first one. I like the Hela skin, and I ended up buying it, but I didn't buy it until I finished it. And I was like, I might as well. But this one I will buy like day one, and I'll start working on it because it's awesome. It's a good snapshot of like, we're in season 1 now. This is what we can expect versus kind of what we've had for just the past month. But this is the way.
Yeah.
So I know they said that they were splitting the season into 6-7 weeks each, but this will go over the whole season, right?
Yes. Yeah. Because number one, yeah, it's 6 weeks is what they're going to be doing for the release of the new characters and the new map. But yeah, your pass is going to last. And remember too, your pass even can go even if you don't finish it in the season, you can carry it through to the next seasons. And down within that pass, there is a Human Torch and a Thing nameplates that you can get as well. So
cool.
Those are in there now. In the build that we have, NetEase also gave us kind of just some free lattice and all that in there to basically go crazy and just buy everything. And of course, those accounts aren't going to carry over to our real accounts, but we got to play with these skins. And the Wolverine skin is awesome in motion, kind of seeing his cape. Kind of, it's tattered, but like where it is tattered is it's kind of red and glows and kind of smokes and all that. Nice. The Iron Man skin looked great in motion, kind of seeing that play.
Also, the Malice skin looks great in motion,
Yes, it does. It does, Ken.
Looks great.
Yeah. So of those skins, I mean, I'm definitely buying the Maker skin, and I'm probably gonna end up actually purchasing the Malice skin. It's great. It's good. It's good.
That was a good one.
Oh man, but yeah, it's Battle Pass. I think they're nailing it with that coming in the season, man. It just looks. It's great.
As you said, Ken's, I like how this is season 1 and they're all the red and black kind of got the color schemes going, and it's very like you'll know, that's the season 1 skin. With the original, with the season 0, it was kind of all over the place. I know there's like we had the Black Panther because Wakanda was kind of big into that, but I guess it was kind of the intro, right? So it was
not much of a real theme.
Yeah, it was like, okay, why are there a whole bunch of different chrono verses and that, so they kind of threw all that stuff together. But they did have the Mantis skin at the end that was really cool, and that kind of tied in with the ship crashing on Clintar and all that stuff, and bringing that Clintar map. So awesome.
For sure. Let's talk a little bit about kind of what was in the dev diary and just the patch notes, because I think that's obviously some big stuff coming to the game. Number one, they're putting in a little potato mode in there. So if your computer couldn't run it, it may be able to run it now. So be sure to check that out. Definitely some optimization coming to the game. Adding more, I guess, frames, I guess, is kind of the way they're I think Guan kind of like phrases it in there. Some of the other thing, of course, is balancing to the many heroes. We thought there was going to be a change to a lot of the team ups, but it seems like they're putting all that on hold, at least through this season. So team ups that you know and love are still going to be in there here for season 1.
They did do some number changes to them, but all of them are staying.
Right.
Some of the passive bonuses for the anchors are changing, and then some of the active, just the numbers. So everything's staying the same, but we will have the new team up with Sue Storm and Reed Richards. And it does say in the write-up for Sue Storm, it says for the Fantastic Four. So it might be like a 4-person team up. And if you have the full Fantastic Four, all of them get a shield, or maybe they all kind of have their own thing because Sue Storm's on your team. So we'll see what happens with the Torch and Thing.
I was going to say
when they come out.
We got some questions later on too in the show. We'll kind of discuss that a little bit. Captain America getting a buff, right? And Venom getting a little boosted up just a little bit. Wolverine and Storm getting boosted up a little bit. This is kind of just the broad overview.
Do we know if seasonal heroes aren't those staying the same? So like the
Extra
seasonal
health.
Buffs.
Yes. It's
so
just the
that's
numbers
not
are changing for season 1, but they said for season 2 they will be like overhauling it.
Yeah.
There'll be different heroes with the seasonal buffs and different team ups.
One team up that is getting buffed with the numbers going up, which kind of scares me a little bit because I remember it being incredibly powerful in the alpha, and you don't see it that often, is the Magneto Scarlet Witch crazy sword. I just do in the alpha. That thing just obliterated, and it seemed like
I use it when I can. It's great.
I've played a lot of Magneto this season, and I feel like it's good the way it is. So making it better, great. I think they were increasing damage, but changing kind of the range on it. Maybe the fall off is a bit closer. but they're increasing the damage of it. So sure,
I don't know
I'll take it.
how much you guys really want to go through some of these patch notes. I mean, if there's anything kind of big, I mean,
I'll just give you my highlights. I'm happy that Thor is getting a little bit of a health buff from 500 to 525 because that's his seasonal thing is a health boost, and as soon as he loses that, he's going to be in trouble. So that's kind of what I was hoping that they would be doing with these seasonal boosts is learning about the different heroes and almost kind of as like a beta test for each one so that they know what changes to make going forward. So it's cool to see a little bit of that. Then I'm really excited about Storm because I played a lot of Storm in the beta before everybody knew how to play the game. And I really enjoyed her. And now it's been really rough trying to play her. And so the buffs that she's getting is so overall damage capacity, where'd it go? Yeah. So her left click is faster. The wind blade projectile speed going from 100 to 150, and the damage from it increased by 5 damage. And then the bolt rush getting a 10 point damage increase, and then she's getting a health boost by 100 from 350 to 450 after her ultimate. That's not going to go away. So that's kind of like what Venom's does.
Yeah,
you know, where he uses his ultimate and gets a bit of a health boost. Because basically anytime you would use your ultimate, you die.
You're dead. Exactly.
You'd be right in the middle of everybody, you know, and whoever you didn't kill there or whoever you didn't knock out there, you're done. So I'm very excited to play her.
Yeah, I actually played her this morning, like, because I remembered her. I was like, oh, that's right, they were buffing her, and I played her in the build this morning, and I don't ever play her ever, like in the live game now. I don't think I've even played her once, actually, now I'm thinking about it. I played her obviously in the alpha and the beta, but after I played her this morning in the build, I was like, I think she might be getting a little bit more time for me coming this season because she felt awesome, dude. Really good, especially when, like, because I was playing AI matches because I was on early in the mornings, couldn't find other people to get in there. But it was always teaming you up with Thor. So having that team up with Thor with the lightning is awesome.
It's an extra projectile, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
One extra thing.
Yep.
And the biggest
huge team up.
One of the biggest thing that stands out that I said is the projectile speed. It's like her attacks seems so slow, but it's going from 150 to or 100 to 150 and getting a damage increase. So she's going to be lighting people up.
Awesome.
So, Mark, it was you playing as her this morning, not when they beat us in the AI match yesterday.
No.
Remember that Storm? She was getting her ult every time. We're like, oh, first point, we got this, no problem. And then Storm comes in with like 3 ults and just they wrecked us.
So here's what I'm gonna say. Like Neil and I, because again, you know, because this was the early build or early access build, sometimes the matchmaking was just taking way too long. So we're like, let's just do some AI matches. So for whatever reason, in the AI matches in this build, which I haven't played enough AI matches in the live build, but whenever it was getting to the point where we were almost going to win in a control point or in a convoy, you know, you're getting to that point where like, oh, they have 10 seconds left. You know, you hear Galactus say that. Somehow the whole AI team would come rushing in and just hit every single one of their ults and like push through that point. And that Storm had her ult like every 15 seconds. It seemed like it was just crazy. Like, what is happening? And
we didn't know the patch notes, so we didn't know what kind of buff she was getting.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
The other thing I noticed during that match or during one of the other matches we were playing was the Squirrel Girl ult now becoming like an auto target. So instead of bouncing randomly, it goes to the person. Because I saw it come, I'm like, oh, I'm missing that, and it should bounce right back at them, so I'll be fine. But as soon as it hits somebody, bounce off, it came straight to my character. I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do, and I got wrecked by it. So Squirrel Girl being buffed, I'm sure Matt is excited about that because he was doing really well with her this last season, as is. So he'll be carrying us next season.
I will say, dude, I'm excited. The Cloak and Dagger, give me that extra dash. Give me that 4th dash out of from 3.
I can't believe that. That's great.
And they're actually they're reducing the Dagger Storm cooldown too from 15 to.
And we'll see this. We'll see this in the pick rates and win rates, but also one thing that I learned about her ult is that if you go back and forth on the same spot, it actually stacks all the healing and all the damage. So if you just go back, if you have like a small control point or a corner or whatever, you just do a 180 and you shoot back the same way. So now it's going to stack 4 times with that extra dash, which is crazy. You stand on there, you're not going to die, or if you're an enemy, don't stand on there.
Which, by the way, if your Cloak and Dagger is on your team and they pop their alt, stand in the smoke.
Yeah,
stand in it, people. It helps. Like, that's the one thing I
it's
actually.
Good smoke.
There was like a whole thread on Reddit. I think it was yesterday. I was reading it, and that's what people were saying. It was like, why? What is with this? Like, people don't get it. And I think part of it is because visibly, when you look at it, even if they're on your team, it looks rough. Like, people
and
avoid it.
And if it's against you, you're used to running out of it.
Right.
Yes.
They don't change the color or anything. Maybe they can make it blue.
They should do that.
I think it has like a blue tinge and like a red tinge. But somebody had a great point. It was like, just make it white if it's yours, or black if it's the bad. So it's like easy. Cloak and Dagger.
There might be some accessibility options or something for your visual indicators for colorblind mode or whatever. Maybe that
I don't know
will help it a little bit.
It seems like everybody I'm playing with is colorblind. I don't understand.
Well, if you have two TNTs in the game, how are you going to know if it's yours or theirs?
You're not going to know.
Yeah. So just try it, see what happens.
Tyrone and Tandy. Who else is getting some good stuff here? Well, we didn't mention like Hela and Hawkeye getting nerfed.
Not really though. Hela's getting a little bit of a health nerf, but her damage is staying exactly the same. So she's still going to be great.
Watching the pros play, Hela and Hawkeye were bans almost every game. So we'll see. But on the other end of that, Black Widow's getting some more damage. So hopefully they'll even them out a little bit.
Yeah,
and
they'll
be picked more to even that
out. Venom getting the buff too. It's kind of interesting in that one. I was kind of surprised to see that. I don't know. I mean, you guys play Venom more than I do, but does he need that?
I'm just reading his increased symbiotic resilience bonus health ratio gain per lost health from 1 to 2.
1.2. So it's a little bit more when you do your I'm out of health, I'll use my shield thing. So survivability from that, and then also getting more damage from his ult.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because his ult doesn't rarely. I pretty much just use his ult if I'm about to die and I need some extra health.
Because it gives you
and get some extra health there. So
bonus health.
That's cool.
Yeah. And, that's great.
Cap getting more health too, man. I love that. Because that's the thing. Like,
I feel like
all the diving ones. Yeah, true. All these diving ones are getting more utility. I feel like Doctor Strange and the guys with Magneto, they're being picked a lot more. So they want to give I feel like Hulk was doing really well too. Oh, he got nerfed. So his gamma shield's going down.
Yeah.
But
that's pretty significant. 50 HP point there to the shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be talking, I think, next week a little bit more. I mean, we'll probably pull up the patch notes again next week because, like, you can read all these on paper, and even like having the early build and all that, like, it's going to be totally different when you get into the live game between not only just like quick match but also in comp. So next week we'll be talking more, I think, about kind of the hero balancing because we'll have had more time to kind of see how it's all going to play out as more people are getting in there and you're actually playing real matches. Be on.
And in these patch notes, it also goes through the team up changes at the bottom that we were talking about.
Yeah. So they're out there. Go read those patch notes for sure. There's definitely some good stuff in there, and maybe your favorite hero is getting that buff that you want. But if you think your favorite hero is the greatest hero in the world, well, they may or may not be, because now the Marvel Rivals website has updated with the hero hot list. And no, we're not talking about the Malice skin or the Venom's winter celebration in terms of hero hot list. We're talking about the pick rates and win rates. So if you go over to MarvelRivals.com, you can see there's a heroes data section now, and you can pick your platform, game mode, quick player, competitive. You can break it down by the roles, and then they break it down for you in terms of the pick rates and the number of wins. So just looking right now, PC, quick play, the highest picked character is Jeff the Landshark. If you switch over to console, it is Jeff the Landshark.
Everybody wants to use their winter skin they earned from the map. Or I wonder, I guess this wouldn't include the picks from having to pick him in his event.
Yeah, because that's not quick play.
Yeah, no.
Right.
But though, now a comparison. So in terms of the win rates, So he is picked the most, but the highest win rate in quick play on PC actually is Mantis at 56%, where Jeff is only 45.39%.
He is the second worst win
Yeah.
rate. So one thing, I guess, if you're playing him a lot, you're also losing most of the time.
Well, I was trying to think, like, what does that tell us? Does that just tell us, like, your average player, number one, like Jeff, let's be honest, Jeff's become like the mascot for this game, right? People that know nothing about this, but they know Marvel, and they just see this wacky shark. They've seen all the clips online, but they're on TikTok, social media, wherever they are, and they're like, I want to play the shark. And they just jump in, don't know what they're doing, but they're just picking him because he's cute, and maybe this isn't the game for them. But those that are actually playing are, maybe or getting the wins are those that are knowing kind of how to play these I don't know, the minutia of the characters, I guess, if you want to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's what that tells
He's
us.
in the same spot in competitive, though. He's still second to last in terms of win rate on PC competitive.
Huh.
Yep.
So
I guess that's just another one of those things that just like, it on paper it says you one thing, but in the real world, like are people actually experiencing? Kind of like I said with the poll in the beginning, it's like this is giving us the raw data, but are people actually experiencing that?
And I guess this isn't live, right? It says update time the 6th, so it got updated on Monday. I don't know if it's going to be a weekly that it updates this, but the fact that this info is out there, how much is that going to impact the changes to it? They're like, oh, everybody in Grandmaster rank is picking this, so I'm going to pick them now. And I bet you, let's see, we go to Grandmaster and above, competitive PC, pick rate, highest picked character, Doctor Strange. I bet you we're going to see that pop up, and he's going to be outpicked from Jeff next time we check in.
Wow.
This.
Okay. We'll see. But go look at it. It's
win
pretty
rate
cool.
too, right?
Yeah.
People are going to see that. And highest win rate, PC competitive, is Hulk. So Doctor Strange and Hulk, they go together. They've got the team up as well. So maybe that's my way to gold next season.
And so, I mean, that right there probably shows us why in the patch notes he's getting that little bit of a nerf to that game shield. It's like his win rate is so much, and it's like because he's unkillable. So it's like, okay, we need to make him a little bit more killable. So
a lot of the looking at competitive PC for win rates, a lot of these characters with the highest win rates have the lowest pick rates. So people who are picking them, there's not many of them, but they're all really good with them and can carry. So just quickly, Hulk, Magic, Iron Fist, Adam Warlock, they're all 10% or less pick rates, but they're 54 and 53% win rates.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I meant pick rates when I said. So Mantis seems to be the most popular and the highest win rate right now. And maybe it's because she's got that sweet Battle Pass skin. I don't know.
Could be. People just want to play that skin.
Gotta flaunt it.
That's right. All right, but go check that out. It's very cool. I'm glad they added that to it. It's pretty neat.
I remember them saying that they were gonna release this, and I was like, "Oh, where is this?" at the beginning of the game, but now I forgot that they said they was coming.
Yeah, I'm really curious how often they'll update it. Are they gonna update it at the end of every season, kind of like they're doing now, or is it going to be a regular like weekly thing where you can go and check, who's the best?
I mean, I would hope they would at least, if it's not every week, they're at least going to do it when Thing and Johnny Storm come out. At least give it 6 weeks in, just so we kind of know.
I think now that it's set up
in a mid-season patch, maybe too.
Too much to update it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hope we get a mid-season patch too. Like, let's do this, see how it goes. And then when those new heroes are introduced, make the changes they need to the existing heroes as those guys kind of come in. Let's see. We also got word this week that we're getting a new round of Twitch drops coming to the game. This is going to go live on January 10th and go all the way through January 25th. So just be sure you are watching a Twitch channel that has drops on, which we of course are one. So if you want to tune into the show live at some point or whenever we're streaming, you can get some progress on that. You will get for 30 minutes the Hela Will of Galacta spray. 1 hour will get you the Hela Will of Galacta nameplate, and then the costume is the Hela Will of Galacta costume. So
awesome.
That's sweet. It's great.
Looks great. Love the colors. I really enjoyed the Magneto one I got from last season too. And it says part 1. So, they'll keep doing this. Will of Galacta skins, and excited to see who they do next. This is a great little promo.
Yep. I think it's cool that it's all themed around Galacta too. Like
Yeah.
the last one was. This is probably just going to be what they're going to be doing moving forward. Just give
Everyone gets a
character.
purple skin.
Right.
Yeah.
Give them the Will
Well-
of Galacta skin.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about it a little bit when we talk about the comic, but it's like you are Galacta because she is watching our fights and
That's
you're
right.
watching other
Uh-huh.
people fight too,
That's
right?
She is.
So
Yep. Well, speaking of the comic, let's move over to Neil. So, issue 4 of the Marvel Unlimited Infinity comic has out. What do you guys think of that issue? What do you guys think?
Biggest thing that stood out to me was I need a team up between Spider-Man and Squirrel Girl for some sticky grenades.
they have it.
The-
It's in there.
Is it really?
Not,
I didn't even know.
It doesn't have the what you see in the comic where they're all just like totally engulfed in it, but it does. Yeah, it's in there.
I had no idea because I
Yep.
guess I've never seen that combination of
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it is a
of
thing.
team.
Yeah, I feel like I wasn't as excited about this comic from some of the other ones. They're really sticking with the Web of Destiny timeline, the Tokyo 99, and they're playing with the Galacta. Oh, let's check in with our heroes. Oh, this guy doesn't like giving some commentary on it as they're going through, and everyone's still calling Squirrel Girl Thor because it's the same
Yeah.
player, but they changed characters last issue. So maybe just a little sour on it because they didn't have any Thor or Venom parts to it, which was my favorite from the last.
Yep.
But Jeff is, as you said, the mascot for it, right? They're talking about him all the time. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
Jeff, lead this guy over here. You know,
He's just sitting there getting pets too.
sure.
Yeah.
While I was on there reading this, I also saw that they released the Jeff Venom comic on Marvel Unlimited that Matt had talked about during the Jeff Lore episode, which is great. It's a great comic. I highly recommend that as well because Venom Jeff is amazing. Please give me that.
Oh, you know what's
Costume.
coming.
That'll
Man.
happen.
So cool. He's just eating everything,
I
and
could-
he's arguing with the symbiote, like, oh, should we get candy apples or popcorn? And then they end up agreeing on something and like, fist bumping.
You know what would be
Hilarious.
awesome? Like I could see them wanting to make that like a premium charge skin. Or what I would really hope that they would do, and I mean, it would sell the Battle Pass like crazy. Make that be the final skin of the Battle Pass of a symbiote season, whatever it is that they do, and the final skin is the
This
symbiote
is
Jeff.
Oh yeah.
That thing would just sell like hotcakes. That would be the one thing. That'd be awesome.
Amazing.
But yeah, go, again, keep up with that comic. It's cool. There's a little bit of an interesting ending this go around. I don't really know what's going on. Somebody calling somebody by a different name, and it's like I don't know what's happening here. But they're continuing to put that out, and it's
I think it's
pretty
6
sweet.
issues, so we got 2 more left. We'll
Mhm.
see where it goes.
Yeah. Well, we got a request to do our lore segment on Mr. Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. So we're going to move on to that in our lore segment that we call the Cerebro Files. All right. Well, our lore master is not here today for the podcast. However, he did actually send us a nice little audio of the Winter Soldier lore. So I'm going to play that right now for you guys.
I think he's here in the chat too.
He is in the chat. He definitely is here in the chat. So we're going to play this. This is from Matt. So enjoy, and we'll come back on the flip side of that and break it down for you. So here we go.
Hey guys, this is Matt. Sorry I am not there with you this week, but I am on special assignment with the Southeast Avengers. I knew you needed your lore fix for the week, so let's dive into everything James Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier that we know him to be. So he has affiliations with a lot of different groups, actually. The Thunderbolts, the Outer Circle, Strike Force, the War Avengers, the Thunderbolts, the Invaders, the Avengers, of course, the Captain America Corps, the New Avengers, And the list literally goes on and on. Even the Red Room with Black Widow. The character debuted back in the golden age of comics alongside Captain America. And thank you to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you have seen Marvel Studios' Captain America, the First Avenger, then you know a good bit about Cap. It doesn't necessarily follow the faithful story of Bucky in the comics, though. So Bucky was not a soldier. Bucky was a title. It was a code name for James Barnes at this point, who was serving as a propaganda hero, if you will, alongside the original Captain America. The name Bucky has been used by multiple people over the years, including some men who would go on to be Captain America at some point or another, and including some interesting female Buckys from across the multiverse. I'll leave that to you to look up. Some interesting facts about our Winter Soldier, James Buchanan Barnes, which I'll refer to as Bucky from now on, to keep it simple. He was the second gunman to shoot JFK. He was a trainer in the Red Room. That's where he met Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. But in the comics, basically serving as Bucky and helping Captain America in, the good fight. He... In the movies, we see them riding on a train, and he falls off the train and loses his arm like that. In the comics, it's a little bit different. Bucky and Cap are going to grab onto a plane that is a seaplane, a helicopter, if you will, that is taking off. Cap cries out to Bucky to not grab onto the ski because it could be booby-trapped. Bucky doesn't hear, and it explodes, sending him flying into the ocean. And that is the last we see of him for years. It wasn't until 2004 that he showed back up, but not the Bucky we know and love. I've heard a running joke that in comics there are only a few people who really stay dead, and it's not really true anymore, but it used to be, unless you were Jason Todd, Bucky, and I forget the third one. You were the only comic characters to truly stay dead, but that has since been proven false on multiple grounds. So during this big absence in Bucky's life, he is found and turned into a Soviet spy, an assassin. He was brainwashed by Russians who made him the Winter Soldier, sent on secret missions, committed some of the worst assassinations, credited over the 50 years, more now, of his time as Winter Soldier. And we've gotten a little bit of update to that recently, where Bucky was also allied with an organization known as the Outer Circle, who also had their hands in big events around the world, influencing things such as like FDR winning the U.S. election in 1932, World War II, the testing of the first thermonuclear device, Bloody Sunday, the Falklands War, the fall of the Soviet Union, and more. I think personally it's really cool when writers are able to play into that, and we see the lines blurred between real life and comics. I'm a big political thriller fan. Marvel Studios' Captain America, The Winter Soldier is my favorite superhero movie of all time. It's fantastic. But over time, Bucky kind of proves his own right and merit as a hero. Steve Rogers, Captain America, is able to help break that brainwashing. It's not easy, something that Bucky is still dealing with the fallout of. And he eventually becomes Captain America himself when Steve Rogers is killed. There are so many great comic arcs to explore. So I'll just list a couple, but I could sit here and talk half an hour about Bucky's history in the comics, but I'll spare you that. There are some great videos on YouTube about it. There's some great articles that you can just Google the past of James Buchanan Barnes, and they'll pop up for you. If you need to know anything about the Winter Soldier, you need to read Ed Brubaker. He is the master, the father of the Winter Soldier, if you will. His first run not his first run, the Winter Soldier arc in 2004, which is, and Mark will back me up on this,
Definitely.
classic, great political intrigue, and just good comic writing. Next up, by Brubaker, Winter Kills, in 2006, deals with some of the trauma that Bucky is experiencing as he's being deprogrammed. He clashes with the Young Avengers. It's that he's a born leader, but he doesn't want to do it, but he's so good at it. Very good humanizing arc there, Winter Kills, 2006. There's the Trial of Captain America as well, where as Bucky is filling in as Cap, the public is finding out about his past as the Winter Soldier. And they're like, you are claiming to be him, Captain America, but you are dirty. You have blood on your hands. Look at all the things you've done. And so it is Bucky trying to reconcile those two thoughts. And he's like, yes, but I've put that behind me. I have done all these good things, literally on public trial for his past. He gets a solo title in 2012, the Winter Soldier book, again by Ed Brubaker. First solid arc coming out of Cap's shadow. So good stuff there. Another good book, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was released around the time of the Disney Plus show. Just a good buddy title. And then a personal favorite, Kyle Higgins's Winter Soldier limited series in 2018. He meets a kid who seems eerily similar to his own past as Bucky, and he makes it his job to help free him from a dangerous path that he may be on. I'll leave you guys with that. Have a great episode, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. Well, big thanks to Matt for sending that in, and very in depth there. So lots of great reading material for you. I mean, he mentioned it, and I got to second it. The to me, the quintessential Winter Soldier and one of my favorite comic book stories of all time is literally that first appearance of him as Winter Soldier, the big reveal, and that whole storyline leads into Civil War, the original Civil War. So if you're looking for any comic to jump into or anything, that is just a great place to jump into comics. And of course, it's all on Marvel Unlimited. And I don't know, I couldn't recommend it more. It's so awesome.
That's the 2005 Brubaker. And I feel like we talked about that during the Captain America
we did
episode as well.
Yep.
That's something that's on my list to check out for sure.
Yeah. It's
I just want to commend Matt for these war segments, because I knew he wasn't going to be here, and so I was like, I'm gonna look up some stuff on Bucky and maybe be ready to jump in, but the stuff that I looked up and had prepared was nowhere. That's not even worth mentioning. So good job.
The Winter Soldier is also Bucky.
Did you know?
Did you know?
I think the cool part about the origin is with that explosion and them falling into the cold waters. That's the same point where Captain America gets lost and frozen in time, kind of thing, and then Bucky gets lost and frozen in time. The Russians were looking for Captain America to get reverse engineer the super soldier serum, I assume, and they end up finding Bucky, and obviously his armor's gone, so they fix him up there and they brainwash him and all that fun stuff. But that's kind of a cool thing that happens, and it just so happens that they find Bucky and not Captain America. I wonder if is there some sort of what if the other way went, like
I think
it's frozen in time,
in terms of more like current what if I can almost guarantee you it's out there, like what if, but like I would wonder the old what ifs, like the 1980s what ifs. Did Bucky ever come up in those books? Like, what if Bucky didn't die? I'm sure that may be out there. I've never read it, but those old like 80s what ifs books are great, and they would bring things up like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if we have one of those out there. But yeah, big thanks to Matt for sending that out. And we didn't discuss actually before we went on the air here. Who are we doing next week?
Put your
I mean, should we?
Give us a
comments
request.
in.
Yeah, somebody in the chat here as we're going live. We'll kind of do this live here. So the first one to put a character in there, it's going to be the lore jump or the lore
I
for
think
next
that's
week.
cool. The movie Matt said was his favorite. I also really enjoyed that movie, and the show Captain America and the Winter Soldier was also really good. I enjoyed that show as well.
I haven't. I'm trying to stay away from a lot of the Marvel trailers. I've seen the very first one that released for Brave New World, but are we getting any Bucky in that, or is it just Thunderbolts?
I think he's only in the Thunderbolts trailer, so
Right,
unless he just
but
somehow
I didn't
appears.
Know, I didn't know if there had been another, hint at Bucky in Brave New World, or if it was. I know for sure he's in Thunderbolts, but
I mean, you would almost think like he should be, right? With Falcon being in. Well, I'm sorry, with Captain America being in there. I should
the Captain America movie.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. So why don't we do Mr. Fantastic, I think, next week? I think that would be a good one because then that can kind of even lead into the Maker skin and kind of the whole idea with the Maker and all that, I think. So next week, look forward to that. We'll be doing a Reed Richards episode and jumping into that. So, all right, guys. Well, lots of stuff there. I mean, Bucky is a great character and so go read all that. But let's move on here to our final segment, the part of the show where we get you involved that we call What Ifs. All right. Well, remember, you can reach out to us either on our socials at Rivals Assemble Pod or, of course, on Spotify is a great way to get in touch with us through comments on there. Or you can email us just like Mark Asbury did to rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com. And he said, hello, guys. Active listener and big fan of the pod already. I have a few questions for you. So, with us already having Namor, Magic, possibly Emma Frost, do you think that we will at some point get Colossus and Cyclops to get the Phoenix Force going and get those outfits as well? Also, if we magically did, do you think that using all of them would activate a Phoenix Force ability and also using multiple characters like the Fantastic Four? Love the content. So we were kind of talking about that a little bit earlier. Now, we also got another question similar to this over on Spotify from Ben, and he said, Psylocke is always my first ban. So annoying. As far as what ifs, what if we had a 6-man team up like all X-Men, all Avengers, Sinister Six, Brotherhood, etc.? So,
yes.
What do you think if we had this like ultimate team ups? So that's what you had to do. You basically had to play like all the Avengers or all the X-Men. And it was, in my head, I was trying to think what mechanic would they put in the game to have that work? And the only thing I could wrap my head around was everybody had to have their ultimate at the same time. So you couldn't spend your ultimate. Like if you have your ultimate and somebody on your team wastes it, you got to wait. So all 6 players have to have that ultimate. So it's something that's rare in the game. If everybody wants to hold on to it, that's great, but it's going to put you at a disadvantage for doing that. But if you're able to activate it,
you win.
You drop the nuke like in Call of Duty. You get the 25 kill streak and the nuke is dropped on the map. Like,
get your Megazord going.
How great would that be if they could do that?
Incredible.
Dude?
I feel like in the normal game, I don't think they'll ever do that because they don't want to lock you down to a 6-person team the same. But if they might do a similar to our Jeff event or whatever and have like kind of like the Mirror Watch or something like that, a limited event where it's select characters and you're either on one team or the other and you have to pick one of those 6 of the characters and they have like a 6-person team up that you get to play with in that kind of fun mode.
Yeah, that's how I think they'd have to do it. And that would be so much fun to go in there and it would just, it's like arcade mode, it's like just something silly, but a really cool thing to experience. I hope they do it.
I would say Matt in the chat, he says, you have to limit it to at least one a match, but I think it would literally be similar. I mean, not necessarily a win, but like I said, Call of Duty, like that's what happens when you drop that nuke. It's literally game over. Like you just
at least a point, like 1 point for the like one push or one capture, like or close to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we did talk about how the Sue Storm team up is for the full Fantastic Four. So I think that's good. Like 4 characters out of 6, and obviously they're they're the Marvel family, as we talked about.
I think that if we're talking like legitimately game mechanic and like competitive and quick play and stuff, that you could do, I don't know about all 4, but you could do 3, you know, having, you know, 3 of the fantastic, you know, each of them having a team up with one another, but it just kind of being 3 at a time. So it's like you have a different anchor and then 2 here, and, you know, so you can mix and match them, but I think that's probably how they'll do it.
So very cool idea, guys. Thank you for sending that one in. That was a good one. Let's see. We also have another one from Crabwise over on Spotify, and he said, just started listening to the podcast today, and it's pretty great. Thank you. He said, I enjoy hearing your perspectives, especially on balance and roles. My question is, what's your take on basic attacks like Scarlet Witch and Cloak? I've personally never understood the process of adding abilities that can't miss while dealing with constant damage. I never liked Moira for this reason. Of course, he's pointing to Moira over in Overwatch. He said, I'd like to hear your perspective on the balance of such abilities. So what do you guys think? Like, I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, I had a match earlier this week in the live game. I was playing Iron Man, and just the Scarlet Witch, I mean, playing the character right was just harassing the crap out of me. Like, just kept, and then, you know, I had to fly away, but then, of course, she could go in her little, you know, transportation mode, whatever you call it. Yeah. She could kind of get, not necessarily, like, I just had to fly far away to get away from her, but she kept just, like, locking onto me and burning me down.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's frustrating when you get stuck, but again, that's kind of the appeal of the game, is you have to know how to flip to that. You know, it's like, if I just keep trying to do Iron Man and she just keeps taking me out, I either try to find a way around it, or I just switch and go to somebody else that's going to counter her.
Yeah, some type of stun will take him out. Excuse me, pretty easily. You know, because that locks him down for just enough time for you to do enough damage to him that whenever they do come out of that stun, you can still probably win that.
What are your thoughts just overall though on abilities like that? It's essentially like a lock-on ability.
I think they're fine. I don't have any issue with them. I do think they have to be balanced correctly. You know, like they can't have a lot of range. I like the variety in damage like that. I wish we had some more damage over time abilities, and I don't mind the constant damage, but I don't think it's tuned. I don't think it's over tuned right now. I think it's fine at the moment, but I mean, it can be annoying for sure if it's.
Yeah. I mean, I think
there's.
Oh, go ahead.
There's a couple things with it. One is that it's a constant damage, but you're not going to get bursted down in less than a second, right? So the other thing is you got to save your cooldowns for it, any sort of stun, as you guys were talking about, or your getaway, or your save ability. Save it if you know that they've got it on a team, because they're going to be coming for you. And the other thing is, just stick with a buddy. Always get your friends to peel for you and all that. 2-on-1. That's how you get out of it too, right? So they want to find you alone because that's where they can get you. But stick with a buddy and you should be fine. They did, I believe, buff one of these. I don't remember if it was Cloak or Scarlet Witch, but it's doing more damage, which is a scary thing. Because
I will say, dude,
by it.
As a Cloak, I mean, I love it because, you know, when you're playing Cloak and Dagger and you get jumped, most of the time I am in Dagger form. So you get jumped, quickly switch over to Cloak, quickly do your little spin where you kind of, you know, go invis, and I hover up, and then I kind of watch them because, you know, they don't know where you went. And then when you pop back out of it, you just can point down and burn them right down. Like, there's nothing more satisfying than that of like, hey, you tried to jump me, but guess what? I quickly switched to Cloak, went up, and then I'm just literally coming down on your head, melting your face. Like, it is great. So personally for me, I hate it when it's happening to me, but when I do it to them, I love every single second of it. So it's like,
don't
super
dish
satisfying.
if you can't take it.
That's right. Yeah. Let's see. We got another one from Angel.m22, and they said, I want to know if I'm alone on this. One of my biggest problems with Overwatch 2 is how they never had new maps. I hope Marvel Rivals doesn't do the same and have a good amount released during its life cycle. How do you guys feel about this? Well, I would just say, Angel, if there's any indication of Season 1 here, they have told us that Season 1 is a giant-sized season. Right. We know we're getting 4 heroes. I can't confirm
3 maps.
That's going to be the same thing moving forward. And I think they've said, you know, don't expect 4 heroes every season, but expect heroes and expect maps and modes. So I think kind of what you're seeing here, maybe not hero-wise, but I would say probably map-wise, this is probably what to expect. If at least one map, But I have a feeling it'll always be whatever those new modes are. I bet you that mode is always going to come with a map too, kind of like we've seen with Conquest and Doom Match. So you're almost going to get 2 maps at least every season, I would think.
Yeah, they did say in the dev diary that this is a supersized season. They wanted all 4 of the Fantastic Four out at almost the same time, like same season. But their goal, at least for now, is 2 heroes a season. So as you said, heroes is right, but 2 is the number. So this is a double season for heroes. If they say maps or modes, at least 1 map per season, which the total is 12 weeks. So right. So 3 months, you're getting 4 a year. I think that's great.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. In Overwatch, I'm trying to think like how many maps have we gotten since Overwatch 2 launched? Not the initial Overwatch 2 pool that they kind of threw out there, but I mean, I'm trying to think about like when Maga came in, right?
One.
We got the
There's the whatever that new game mode was on like the Junker place.
Yeah.
Or no, you know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah, the multi-point.
Yeah.
But they don't. I mean, maybe we've gotten 1 a year, right? I mean, if you want to say it's not like every season you're getting new maps in that game. So, and I think what's really cool with this is that all the maps seem to tie into the story. So, we're Dracula is bringing the night, the Blood Night, or whatever it is, to New York City, and all our maps are themed around that. And
they tie into the story, and then it's like they've come up with reasons as to why you're pushing a payload. Go back to Team Fortress 2, push the cart. Overwatch, we're pushing the hover thing. But why are we doing it? We don't know. But now it's like you got to get Herbie to the thing.
Herbie's got to go to Avengers
really important.
Campus.
You got to get your amalgamation of symbiote to the, it's really important. So it's like there's stories to tell within these things, and so far I'm not worried. I mean, I get the concern, but we'll have to see. But right now I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I think
we're a month in. They have quite a few maps. They launched with a lot already, and then they're adding 2 normal maps, 1 the new game mode map. Within the first few months, it's and I mean, if it stays popular, they're gonna keep doing it, right? So we'll just have to wait and see, but loving it so far.
Definitely. Let's see, we got one more here. This comes to us from BMW Mantis, and they say, "Hi, I'm loving the podcast. Who would you recommend as a DPS? I play Groot, but I'm looking to learn someone new."
Mr. Fantastic. He basically does the same thing as Groot, except he has unlimited ammo.
There you go. Yeah.
I think that's a good recommendation, because also Groot doesn't have very much mobility. So if you're not used to having like I gotta run away, Mr. Fantastic has a lot of the shield and all that stuff. So that's a good way to play. My recommendation would be Namor, because Groot's throwing up walls. Namor can throw up those octopi and just toss some tridents. It's pretty good.
I mean, kind of along that same idea as him, as I would say Squirrel Girl. Just hold the trigger down and just keep pointing towards the enemies. You don't have to even like make sure you're hitting them with your reticule. Just keep it going. Just like kind of in Overwatch when you play Junkrat, just keep throwing shit out there.
Hold that button down.
See what sticks.
Yeah.
You're going to get it at some point. I promise you. You're going to just get those kills, those assists, whatever. You're just doing damage constantly. Just keep it going in. I mean, the only thing with her, though, you just got to know when you get jumps, you got to make sure you're hitting that bounce to kind of get up out of the way. But
tail bounce, Super Mario 3.
And her ult, especially now, kind of having that lock on is great.
Yeah.
So hit that, and it's going to go out there. So. All right, guys. Well, thank you for sending those in to us. Again, hit us up over on Spotify. Email us at rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com. We appreciate hearing from you guys. And, big thank you to everybody else, too, who left comments. Like I said, you guys are really showing us some love. We really appreciate it. And all those that gave us your top 5s, because last week we gave our top 5s. Many of you gave us our top 5s. And we really do appreciate that. Final thoughts, guys, before we end the show on everything we've seen here for season 1. Now, as we're recording this, it is not live yet, but again, most people will hear this as it is live. What do you guys think of everything coming here in season 1? Are we feeling good with what they're giving us?
Yeah, it's stacked. I'm ready to experience the changes, in a competitive match, a quick play match, and yeah, hopefully find some new characters that have been changed up a bit that are more fun to play.
Nice. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. As I said last week, I'm still riding the launch hype, but now they're just giving me a whole lot more reasons to be excited. I'm really excited to jump into the story bits of the season event and see how that goes. I haven't been paying attention to the missions the last couple weeks because I maxed everything out, maxed the battle pass. So it'll be fun to get those missions and actually look at them to change up the heroes I'm playing and how I'm playing to try and to get those done. So I'm looking forward to having a little bit of variety coming up.
Yeah, I purposely too didn't dive into any of the story stuff really in the early access. Like I didn't want to spoil that because that's kind of the fun of this game specifically in terms of its battle pass and the event is like you're getting those story bits as you're going through. And I'm like, I don't want to go in there and read everything now that I can. It's like, no, I'm going to hold off.
Yeah. It's nice how they do it
so
like every few days or whatever it was, because it's like some of the stories can be kind of long to read, but if you got one to read every week, it's like that weekly episode drop, right?
Yeah. And I will say too, the interesting thing as well is, yeah, sure, we're getting the new map. The new, I guess, quick match map, if you want to say, and of course, do match and all that. But taking the new heroes into the previous maps we've played. I had a match on Eagsguard, the convoy map, and just dropping Sue's ultimate. We kind of basically had a team spawn camped, and being able to drop her ultimate there, it just felt so different, having a different character that can have this ability that totally changes everything, or her damage bubble, being able to put that in places. It's so great how just these two heroes just being added to the previous content that we had changes up the way things play. It's really cool. It's neat. And if they can keep this cadence, I think this game, and I mean, we say it every single week that the game is going to be super successful, but they're just proving week in and week out that they pretty much know what they're doing with this to keep players engaged. And I just see it continuing definitely this season. So pretty awesome. But all right, guys, well, let's wrap it up there. Next week, we will be back jumping into our impressions with the live game, maybe some more thoughts on the different heroes. Who knows what else is going to be coming up? I mean, the way this game's been going, we're getting news every single week. So I'm sure we're going to be talking about lots of stuff. And, who knows? Hopefully, we'll be getting some of the competitive rewards. We haven't gotten any of that yet, right? So obviously, the Moon Knight skin was last season's competitive reward. I wonder what we're going to get next season. Who do you think? If you had to guess, who is the skin going to be for competitive this go round?
I don't know. I never would have guessed Moon Knight. So
Doctor Strange, to tie into the story. It's going to be Doctor Strange stuck in the entanglement skin.
That's a good pick.
It'd be cool to tie it to the story a bit.
Yeah. I think that'd be smart if they did that. I think I'm gonna go with him too. I think he's a successful or a very picked character in competitive, so I think that I could see that. One thing too I didn't mention was, you notice how we got the Rocket skin in the Battle Pass, but we didn't get the Steampunk Iron Man, and that was in the alpha and the beta. So I'm almost wondering if that's going to be a premium skin coming in the season at some point, because I thought that would be in the Battle Pass, but then of course we got the cool. Blood Iron or whatever they call it, the Iron Blood.
Skin.
So
right.
I don't know. Just want to throw that out there. But all right, well, let's do it, guys. Everybody, thank you so much here for tuning into the show. And until next time, we'll catch you later. Peace. All right. Good show, guys.
Podcast.
So not, about normal time. We did an hour 45.
Were we?
Hour 45.
Okay. Yeah, a little long.
I definitely switched over at one point and forgot to turn off the intro music when I switched back to R3. So that's why Matt put intro music jump scare.
I turned the stream on after he said that, and I caught it as it happened on the.
I've done that before, and it
was just for a second.
For the audio version, I edited it out because it's one thing if you're watching it, but if you're sitting in your car or going for a run and listening to headphones, it's just Pwah! It's oh god, what does this sound? So yeah, I'll definitely edit that out.
Awesome. Great show, guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure I got it here.
So Ken's, you doing a last push here?
I don't know, man. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm silver 2, so
yeah, that's where I was on Monday. It took me an
Just
hour.
4 or 5 matches, Kens. That's
Yeah.
it. You just got to win every single one of them. No
Just
pressure.
every single one of them. Yeah. While
tried-
What could
everyone
go
else
wrong?
in the world is doing the same exact thing right now,
Right,
trying
right.
to.
Yeah, I
It's
would
okay.
try
I can live
the
without it.
LFG thing on the Discord. It works pretty well. You can make your own kind of voice chat. I
That's
had
cool that that's the
bunch
way
of
that you
people
did it.
jump in there, and then it's just like a big it's one channel that's like LFG console competitive or something.
So
You just
everybody was pretty
say,
cool.
I'm in silver, trying to get gold tonight, North America console, have mic or whatever, and then you the teams I got picked with were nice guys. They're good. One guy was like, "Oh yeah, it's my second count. I'm in Grandmaster, but
Oh, well,
doing it."
there
So
you
he was
go.
kinda
Oh,
but he was kind of a dick too. He's like, "Oh, play
Of
play
course he
Luna,
was.
yeah, play
Yeah.
Luna, and put your thing on me." And I'm like, "All right, yeah, whatever."
that's funny. All right, Streamer, we're going to kill it now. We will catch you guys
Knock
next
it